Hello and welcome. This is World in 2 Minutes, brought to you by trtworld.com. I'm Ilara Basul. Let's take a look at the headlines. 26,000 migrants returned from Russia to the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic in eastern Ukraine over the course of 1 week as the situation showed signs of normalization. According to the UN, the number of refugees from eastern Ukraine had exceeded 1 million in early September. Normalization comes after parties to the Ukrainian conflict agreed on a ceasefire and exchange of prisoners in Minsk on September 5th during talks mediated by the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Global Age Watch Index named Norway the best place to grow old based on social and economic welfare indicators measured for people over the age of 60. Australia, Western Europe and North America also ranked high on the index. Afghanistan was determined to be the worst place to live for the elderly. According to the UN, the number of those aged 60 or over is expected to reach 1.4 billion by 2030. Authorities have detained a dozen activists across China and threatened several others who expressed support for Hong Kong's pro-democracy protests. The clampdown comes as the protests are expected to draw their biggest crowds yet, ahead of a 2-day public holiday in the former British colony. Meanwhile, protesters have called on Hong Kong's leader, Leung Chun-ying, to resign for failing to engage with demonstrators during the standoff that has been dubbed the Umbrella Revolution. Thousands of protesters in Hong Kong demand universal suffrage. The Turkish parliament will deliberate on a motion to authorize its armed forces to act against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. The motion was introduced following a serious increase in risks and threats coming from Turkey's southern border and cites specifically the use of chemical weapons by the Syrian regime and increasing security risks targeting a Turkish enclave near Aleppo. Ongoing ISIS attacks on the border town of Kobane have caused more than 160,000 refugees to cross Turkey's border in 10 days. And that brings us to the end of this World in 2 Minutes. We'll see you in 2 hours. Until then, you can always log on to trtworld.com for more stories.